Welcome back to another Toyota video. I'm your host NuttyNu. This is the most recent Toyota pickup that I recently purchased. This right here is the 92. I just call it white Toyota. Every truck or every car that I get, I just call them by their name and whatever they are. So white pickup. So this is the 92 Auto 3.0. Now, if you guys watch my last video when I talked to you guys about this video, when we got this vehicle, it had a bad AFM. I swapped my AFM and we drove it home. Right when we got home from a 30-40 minute drive from where we bought it from, kaboom, coolant was leaking right from the bottom. I knew right away it wasn't a hose, and the first thing that came to my mind was water pump. So yes, I went ahead and tore it down, and the water pump was bad. I'll go ahead and post up a photo. I didn't film it, all that stuff, when I was tearing this apart, but basically the water pump is what, it's basically what pumps all your water, your coolant into your system, into your cooling system. And basically the blades that does the pumping, they were basically scratching on the casing, on the water pump casing. I don't know how that went. The bearing, when you were turning the bearing, like this piece, when you were turning the bearing, it was still really good. It was nice and smooth. It wasn't wobbling or anything, but for sure there was definitely visual signs of those fins scratching the casing. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a full timing belt overhaul. The timing belt itself was still in pretty good condition. All these bearings were still in good condition. This is the tensioner one. They're still in good condition, but I usually like to do everything, so we're just gonna go ahead. I went ahead and ordered the full timing belt on the ASIN overhaul kit, and we're gonna put new belts, new bearings. These are your bearings and stuff, and new water pump and new thermostat. I was debating on changing my cam seals, but they look to be in good condition. The front main seal, I went ahead and ordered one, and I do want to replace it. This one isn't leaking yet, but this gear here, this is your crank gear. It's really hard to get out. It's kind of seized in there. This gear is supposed to just slide out from the crank. This is your crank, and I might try to get it out. If I can't get it out, then I'm just gonna leave the front main seal the way it is, because like I said, it's not leaking or anything. But there's always that fear of, hey, it might leak one day. So let's talk about what I've done so far to this engine while we're still waiting on parts. I deleted the front sway bar, got rid of that. I went ahead and deleted the AC system. You can see those two lines back there. Went and delete those. This is the AC condenser, whatever you call it. This sits in front of the radiator. I was gonna remove this too, since I don't have the AC anymore, but I decided that I'm gonna leave that on for now because it does add protection, because it blocks. It sits in front of the radiator, so in case there's any rock chips or anything like that, it does add that protection. So for now, I'm just gonna leave that condenser there. We went ahead and remove the AC compressor. It usually sits right here. This right here is also the AC compressor bracket, and it's held by 4 14mm bolts, and I'll probably go ahead and remove that as well before I put everything together. I went ahead and delete the charcoal canister. Went ahead and did the Egr Delete. I had the I bought an extra kit already, so did all that already. Delete all the hose already for the Egr system. I went ahead and also deleted the ADD mod. So I made a full video about the front differential. It's the four-wheel drive actuator. It's where when you put in four-wheel drive, it vacuums it and it shifts the forks over. I made a video on how to modify that, so you don't have to have that issue, or if there's ever any electrical issue, you don't have to deal with that. So I did that mod already. I deleted all the vacuum lines, and right here is where it has those connectors, those electrical thingies. So I deleted all that, and I haven't filled up the differential oil yet, because that actuator, you have to remove it and then you put RTV around it to seal it back up. So the RTV is already clear, but I'll go ahead and add differential fluid, gear oil this weekend when I'm actually working on it, because I don't want to get dirty just for that purpose. So I did all those delete. Went ahead and removed the valve covers already. Removed them, degreased them, and pressure washed it. The old valve cover were super hardened and they were leaking oil everywhere. Right now it's kind of clean because I pressure washed it, but the old valve cover was super bad. I went ahead and put some new Pro valve cover gasket, the blue ones. So install that. And inside of the, when I opened the valve cover, the cams were super clean. It's so clean that it almost looks like it's a brand new head. I'll post some photos of that too as well. So I'm just curious, you know, maybe the owner really did a good job changing the oil, or maybe these heads were replaced, but I think that the owner just took good care of it. And also, if you look right here, this is your cylinder head. And then right here is the gasket. This head gasket, I don't think this is the OEM head gasket. So if it's not the OEM head gasket, it might have been replaced. Or if it is the OEM head gasket, this one looks to be in really new condition. So that means that maybe this head gasket was done already. Now, I did find some notes in the glove box, a little notepad where the owner kept track of the records of what he did. And the last thing he wrote down was timing belt change at 109,000 something miles. And this truck has 295,000 miles. So I don't think that was, I don't think it might have been over 100,000 miles since they've done the belt, or they might have done it recently, but they never noted down. Some people like to note it down, some people don't. So that's what I've done so far. I put a new oil filter already. Haven't drained the oil yet, but I'll drain the oil once we get it running. And what else have I done? That's pretty much it, really. I stopped at my local GTF Green Tree Fabrication, and I was able to pick up a the tube, the intake tube that goes from here to the AFM. And then Eric had a additional AFM, and he had the air box off at the 3.0, so I was able to get that from him. And I'm pretty much all set for there, because before that they had a cold air intake that was connected to the AFM that was bad, and I don't plan to reuse that. This is the cruise control. I'm gonna leave the cruise control on because I love using cruise control whenever I'm on those long fishing trip or highway. I usually just put these truck at 65 and set on cruise control. This is original Toyota. Nothing's wrong with it, so I'm not gonna replace it. I opened up the spark plugs, and they were super in good condition. It's almost like as they were new. So I'm just gonna go ahead and leave those spark plugs alone. No, the spark plugs itself alone. The spark plug wires are still in good condition, so I'll probably leave those alone as well. And then all the coolant seems to be in good condition, so really not gonna really mess with any of that stuff at all. So right now we're basically just waiting for the timing belt overhaul kit and the radiator from AutoZone. So I ordered the radiator, all the hoses, thermostat from AutoZone. Should be here hopefully next week, and then this Friday, in a couple days, my timing belt will be here soon. So once my timing belt comes in, I'll be able to slap that on, slap the intake manifold on, get everything buttoned back up, and then all we have to do now is just wait for the cooling system to get here, put that on, slap on the air box, and give it a go. And it should be really nice. I also decided that I removed those lights that I had here. So delete that. I haven't got the chance to remove these bracket yet. I did a quick spray paint on the bottom valance. I gotta go ahead and retouch it again. And I also went ahead and switched out my wheels already. So these wheels are the SR5 off of the Red Yoda. Red Yoda might be sold today. By the time you guys are watching this video, it might be sold already, but I'll let you guys know. So I swapped the wheels over. I kept the tires. These are the tires that came with it. They're practically brand new. Still smells good. 235 75 15. I went ahead and rattle canned the frame. Just gave it a quick Rust-Oleum paint. All the shocks still feels good, so I may not replace them. The tie rod still feels good for sure, but they're definitely old and rusty. So I want to replace those because I know the alignment's off. When you're driving straight, your steering wheel is like pointing at 2 o'clock, or at least the center. These side step, they're really good. These are Toyota side steps, so these are original Toyota. These side step, I was gonna remove them, but I decided that I'm gonna leave them here because, you know, I want to just keep it the way it is. It's not bothering me. If I'm not gonna off-road this truck, if I was gonna off-road this truck, then I would remove it. But since I'm just gonna drive this in the city, I'm just gonna leave these here. So the paint was already chipping. I did a lazy job of just quick rattle can it, but I might go back and use my wire brush and just wire brush all this rust off, and I might just go ahead and spray paint it again. So side steps are staying on. What else have I done? I cleaned the back here. Clean all this. Oh, here's the timing belt. This is the original timing belt that was on it. You can see here. You can see it's still really good. I don't know what brand this is, but this is the timing belt. It's still in good shape. I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm just gonna hold on to it. Just, you know, you never know, you might need a spare. This is the Egr System. These are all the hard lines on under the intake. You delete those. The old coolant hoses, they're not bad, but we'll keep them for spares. I went ahead and washed the fan shroud. I'll probably go ahead and install this back on. The wind deflector on the hood, I removed that just to clean it because it was super dirty. The skid plate, I went ahead and removed that. It was super greased up, so I degreased it, pressure washed it. I'm gonna go ahead and slap on some Rust-Oleum paint before we go ahead and install it back on. And you can see here the side steps as well. This thing is clean, guys. Now, I told you guys that I was gonna keep this truck, and you guys know how I am. I always end up selling these Toyota. So once I'm done fixing it, I'm gonna see how good it runs, if there's any other works that's needed. And I'm gonna give it about 2 weeks. I'm gonna give it 2 weeks, and I'll decide if I want to keep it or don't keep it. So if you guys want to buy a truck, you know, just, you know, keep me in mind. This might be on the market. It might be on the market, it might not. So I went ahead and vacuumed it. I was in a super rush, so I went ahead and vacuumed it already, even though I still have all my parts. Everything got pressure washed. All these things here got pressure washed. The wire brush, all these got pressure washed as well. Didn't pressure wash the harmonic balancer, but everything has been cleaned up, guys. Everything's ready to go. And this is how I roll, guys. I like to take things apart, find out what I need, order my parts, and then in the meantime go back and clean out all the parts. This fan clutch was filled with freaking dirt, dust, pressure wash, all of that. The intake plenum was super greasy, super dirty, pressure wash, all that. Throttle body was super dirty. Went ahead and cleaned it with brake cleaner. You don't want to pressure wash that. And for the most part, this is pretty much it. This thing is super minty. Once I get everything installed, I'll go ahead and maybe vacuum it again, and then use my ozone to just make it more fresher. It doesn't smell anything like that. It doesn't smell anything like that, but just make it cleaner and stuff. But this thing is just so clean. Everything's all factory, you know. The guy that owned it, you know, he never really messed with it at all. Just all original, you know. Automatic transmission. The only thing they did was just add that fog light or whatever that was. There it is. 295,000 miles. I'm not scared of miles, guys. I'll buy a $300,000 mile Toyota truck any day, as long as it runs good and the frame is solid and all that stuff. So that's it for this video. Just want to do a quick recap update for y'all. And once we get the parts in and up and running, I'll make another full walk around video and showcase this to y'all. I do have to fix this right here too. You guys can see it. It's kind of loose. See that? So I think the screws are inside the door panel. You gotta pop that open and then make that tight. So now I just gotta be careful when I open this door. So, and I gotta be careful about pressure washing this, because I know if I pressure wash it too much, all these graphics are gonna start peeling off. So I'm gonna go easy on the washing and stuff. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you guys next time and update you guys furthermore. And yep, these hubs here, they do work good, so I'm not gonna replace it with the A's and hub, since like I said, I'm not off-roading. I'm just gonna keep them the way they are and go from there. So keep you guys posted, and I'll see you guys next time.